Hi, this is the first video blog I've ever done. It was actually my New Year's resolution to get this done for 2015 for my blog devottingzombie.co.uk. So excuse the bad quality and the shaky hand because I'm holding the camera. So this is going to be quite a simple, boring vlog I guess it's called. It's just going to be the top 5 horror video games I've played this year. I'm going to include below links to all the reviews I've done of these 5 games. So apologies for the bad quality and the rushed process. It's nearly December, as in the end of December, and so I've got to get this video out before then so that I don't break my New Year's resolution, because next year I intend to do 2 videos in a year. So yeah, enjoy, potentially. Number 5 is Dying Light, which I played on the PS4. This is kind of a spiritual successor to Dead Island, a game which I did really enjoy, but going back to it now, it's a blooming nightmare to play. So Dying Light is a much better version for the new consoles, or new generation I guess, and which has you in an open world city and you sort of parkouring around the city and solving missions and doing little side quests while fighting off hordes and hordes of zombies and soldiers and stuff. It looks really pretty and I had so much fun playing it. It didn't really stick with me once the game was over, but while I was playing it, it was pretty damn good. I think I've got one video on my YouTube channel already of me playing it. You can get really into it, and I love the levelling up system as well, where you have like 3 different things you can level up, different skill trees and stuff, which was really cool. But yeah, as I said, it didn't stick with me, but while I was playing it, it's damn good, so that's why it's number 5. So, in at number 4, I believe. Yes, 4. I've just checked my list. We have Call of Duty 3, or Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, this isn't actually a horror game per se, but it does of course have the zombies mode, which is back in full force and is pretty fantastic. Included with the game is the Shadows of Evil map, which is sort of a film noir style setting, and set in the 1940s, that has you going around trying to solve this ritual stone things, about which somehow summoned the zombies. And also you get the Giant map, which is a remake of a classic Black Ops 1 map. And both these modes look absolutely fantastic, and the weapons just feel so good in them. I just absolutely adore the zombies mode. And this time around there's even more zombies, and that the zombies feature in the main story as well. And the main story is pretty terrible, to be honest, but the inclusion of those goals was pretty good. And also, once you complete the main game, you get Nightmare mode, which is basically the main story again, but levels are remixed and enemies are replaced with zombies instead, which is frustrating as hell, but it's nice that they keep adding all this zombie stuff. In addition to all that, you also get a new Dead Ops arcade, or yeah, I think it's called Dead Ops arcade, and this first turned up in Black Ops. My hand is shaking, I do apologise. But this time around in Dead Ops arcade, apart from looking a lot better as well, you get some power-ups which make you go into first person mode, which really spices things up a lot. I absolutely adored zombies mode in this game, so that's why this gets to number 3. At number 3 we have Soma. Now this was made by the people who did Amnesia Dark Descent, which I didn't actually like that much. They're sort of in the habit of doing horror games that don't actually require much combat at all. It's more sort of exploration and avoiding enemies. So the actual notion of this game is that you've been somehow transported to this underwater research facility, which seems to be deserted, and something cataclysmic seems to have occurred to the world above you. So you're sort of going through this place trying to solve the mystery of just what has happened. There's not much enemies in this game, and to be honest it's not that scary, but the atmosphere is fantastic. You really get the sense of isolation of you being alone in this desolate place, and it's got some really interesting ideas. So while it's not actually the scariest game in the world, it was a really good experience to play. Okay, now in at number 2 we have Fallout 4. I recently completed this after spending about 90 hours doing pretty much nothing but mooching around, and while the setting of Boston isn't particularly memorable, it's so much fun just exploring the place. I mean, the main story, the missions are pretty awful. This main story, it leaves a lot to be desired, but there's some fun side quests, and the exploration is always what sort of brought me to these games. There's so much to do, and with the infinite level cap, there's just I just could not stop playing it for the longest time. I think I finally finished it today, as in put it down for a bit. But DLC's coming out next year. I think there's going to be 4 different packs of that, so I look forward to that. But yeah, at 110 hours, this certainly got my attention for a while, and that's why it's number 2. So my number 1 horror game of this 2015 has to be Bloodborne. I absolutely adored this game, where I never expected to. I'm not really a fan of the Dark Souls games because they're just a bit too hard for me and I hate the mechanics, but with moving from a fantasy setting to a horror setting, this just really gripped me from the start and made me persevere all the way to the end. Even though I did choose the wrong ending by accident. It was just so inventive and looked so good that I was just hooked from start to finish. And that's why that's my horror game of 2015. Now, I realise this really is not the best quality video, and my shaky hand cam is not very good at all, but it was my New Year's resolution, as I said at the start of the video. So I hope if you have bored this long, you haven't been sick through motion sickness, and hopefully there'll be more better videos in 2016. So be sure to check out therottenzombie.co.uk and feel free to comment on any of those posts, and I'll include the links below for the reviews of these 5 games I've mentioned, or at least with Call of Duty's case, my thoughts on the game, because I can't really do a review because most of it's not horror. Anyway, Happy New Year, and I won't see you soon, but bye.